Hey, I'm John Tabler, and in today's video I'm going to talk about food dyes and the harmful effects that it causes to you to ingest food dyes, the many different products that are loaded with food dyes at the grocery store, and what to look out for. I think you're really going to be surprised about some of the things you learn in this video. So hit the subscribe button down below and also the like button, and let's get started. So today I actually have a study that was done called Toxicology of Food Dyes, and it's published on pubmed.gov. And if we come down to the abstract, background says food dyes synthesized originally from coal tar and now petroleum have long been controversial because of safety concerns. Many dyes have been banned because of their adverse effects on laboratory animals or inadequate testing. So what we learn here is that food dyes are actually made from petroleum and then put in food. Now in the conclusion section it says this review finds that all of the 9 currently U.S. approved food dyes raise health concerns of varying degrees. Red number 3 causes cancer in animals, and there is evidence that several other dyes also are carcinogenic. 3 dyes, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6, have been found to be contaminated with benzene or other carcinogens. At least 4 dyes, blue 1, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6, cause hypersensitivity reactions, and numerous biological and rodent studies of yellow 5 were positive for genotoxicity. I mean, this is some amazing things about dyes that are in foods, because they're in, I'm not going to say everything, but they're in so many different foods and candies, and they cause so many problems. Toxicity tests on 2 dyes, citrus red and orange B, also suggest safety concerns, but citrus red is used at low levels and only on some Florida oranges, and orange B has not been used for several years. Well, so what this is saying is that citrus red 2 is used at low levels, so that it infers that, it's just low levels. And so let me ask you this. If someone said to you, this food dye causes AIDS, but it only has really low levels, is that something you would want to ingest? I mean, that sounds absurd. You wouldn't do that. If it caused AIDS in animals, would say, I'm not even ingesting the smallest amount. I'm not going to take any risks. But cancer is just as lethal, and just as lethal for many people. And the notion that you would actually say, well, okay, I'll just ingest a little bit of it. I mean, I could make this analogy with many diseases, but it's absurd that you would go to a place where you buy your nourishment, your food, the grocery store, and you would actually buy something that's going to poison you. It's almost like when you have to find something to take care of pests or pest control. You attract that pest or rat or whatever it is by putting something that smells good to them or attracts them, and then they eat it and it poisons them. And this is essentially what's going on in our grocery stores now. Now, it might not happen overnight, but over a period of time, this is exactly what's happening in slow motion. It's telling you right here that these things that are in our foods are causing cancer and disease in laboratory experiments with animals. But yet they put it in the food still, and it's there. So therefore, it's a poison that's in the food. And it would be great if there was an overriding authority that overlooked all this for us and took care of us, but it's just not the way it works. We have to do that for ourselves. So we have to use our wisdom and our experience and our education to avoid the landmine that has become the U.S. grocery store. Many of these things are illegal, been banned in other countries. And I'm going to go take a look at that in just a second. Let's read a little further. The inadequacy of much of the testing and the evidence for carcinogenity, genotoxicity, and hypersensitivity, coupled with the fact that dyes do not improve the safety or nutritional quality of foods, indicates that all of the currently used dyes should be removed from the food supply and replaced, if at all, by safer colorings. It is recommended that regulatory authorities require better and independent toxicity testing, exercise greater caution regarding the continued approval of these dyes, and in the future approve only well-tested safe dyes. Well, that's a great recommendation, but nobody's listening. So what has to happen is each and every one of us individually have to look out for ourselves and our families, learn what not to put in our bodies, no matter how pretty the wrapper is or how enticing it is or how good it tastes. If you know that you're doing harm long term for yourself or your families, you don't touch it. So I'm going to pull up a video of the mentioned candy, M&Ms. Let's go to the ingredient list, because this is your warning. And so it's up to each and every person to read it and know what they're reading and decide if they want to ingest that in their bodies. And you'll see right here it says includes blue 1 lake, red 40, yellow number 5, blue 1, red 40 lake, yellow 6 lake, yellow 5 lake. Now what's this lake stuff? This is not where you go water skiing. So I'm going to pull up another article that's going to explain that. You'll see right here, it says, can you read a label? Did you know that a lot of artificial food colors have aluminum in them? When you see F, D, and C yellow aluminum lake on an ingredient label, you can know that you will be eating aluminum. Now, aluminum has been linked to Alzheimer's and many health problems. It's definitely not something you want to put in your body. So now you have aluminum, and then you also have the chemical that's causing the other problems. If the label doesn't say aluminum, then you might be eating barium or zirconium, which is worse. So here we have so many things that are assaulting us on all corners, and now we know when we look at that label on the M&Ms that it's actually in there. And so it's something that we don't want to ingest even in a small amount. It says many of these artificial colors are linked to health issues, including cancer, organ failure, and neurological dysfunction. The U.S. currently has no plans to ban food dyes or warn consumers, even though many of these products are marketed to children. Well, the warning, that is your warning. The warning is basically, if it said poison in here, well, you're supposed to recognize that there's poison in there and you're not going to touch it. If we go down a little lower on this article, it says colors to die for. And, you know, that's a play on words, but what it says is the dangerous impact of food coloring. Many parents have observed their child's behavior improve drastically when taken off food dyes, especially red number 40. Because of this widespread anecdotal evidence, the editors at Special Education Degree decided to do an investigative report on the negative effects of food dyes in human beings. So when we scroll down and take a look, we see all the colors are going to be, we're going to go through all the colors here, and it's going to talk about the health concern and where it's banned. So blue number 1, health concerns, chromosomal damage. We're talking about damaging your chromosomes. I mean, the way that things are tested are animal tests and then long-term human studies. And these have been found in animal tests to do all these things. And long-term studies by this point are well known. That's why they're banned in so many places. Like this one is banned in France and Finland. It's just banned. Well, you can still get it in our M&Ms here. So that's really, really a terrible thing. When you go to the grocery store, you're looking for nourishment and you shouldn't be poisoned. But at least we have the ingredient list on there so you can look out for yourself. Blue number 2, health concerns, brain tumors, it's banned in Norway. Citrus red number 2, health concerns, bladder tumors, banned in U.S. food processing. Green number 3, health concerns, bladder tumors, banned in European economic communities. Red number 40, it's the most widely used and consumed artificial dye. Chromosomal damage, lymphomas, hyperactivity. Red number 3, neurochemical and behavioral effects, thyroid tumors, chromosomal damage. And here, interestingly, it says the FDA tried to ban it and failed, which sounds absurd, but obviously somebody was more in control than they were. And I don't think it was the American public saying, you know what, we're okay with that poison in our food. We'll take that. You know, just a little bit of it. I don't think that the American people were the ones saying that. So I'll have to find out the story on that, but if that's true that the FDA tried to ban it and failed, then somebody had a little more say than they did. which isn't a great comforting thing, but the comfort is knowing that at least that it's on there, and now that you know, and you can look out for it. Yellow number 5, health concerns. Chromosomal damage, lymphomas, aggression, violent behavior, asthma, insomnia, hyperactivity, thyroid tumors, allergies, neurochemical and behavioral effects. Banned in Norway. And this is a yellow number 5. Yellow number 6, chromosomal damage, eczema, hives, asthma, hyperactivity, allergies, thyroid tumors, banned in Norway and Sweden. And you know, that's a yellow. It's not that colors in themselves, colors are a wonderful thing. These are synthetic chemicals. Yellow, many things are colored with yellow from the turmeric root. And the turmeric root will actually give a really brilliant yellow color and is actually healthy for you. And so there are healthy things that can be used, but these type of things in food you must stay away from. I'm going to pull up this video, and we all know what this is, Pop-Tarts. And when it comes up, we're going to see the ingredients near the bottom. Now at the top we see enriched flour, and we had looked at that in another video and talked about that the reason why it says enriched is because they previously processed and stripped the flour to such an extent that by law it can't be called food at that level, and it has to have nutrients or so-called nutrients added back to it. The problem is the place they get these nutrients from are synthetic, from the petroleum industry, iron from the steel industry, and so it's really absurd in comparison to what is grown naturally and what was there before, but it passes the law. So that was in another video. So we know right away if it says enriched flour that the flour had previously been completely compromised. But near the bottom, you can see red number 40, blue number 2, blue 1, and blue 1 lake. We know that's aluminum, and we know what these other blue 1 and blue 2 and red 40 are. And there are blue 1, this is from another article, blue 1 and blue 2, it says countries including Norway, Finland, and France have banned these dyes, likely because they have been linked to brain cancer. Well, yeah, I mean, likely it's because they've been linked to brain cancer. That would be a good reason to ban things that are in the food supply. But here in the United States, they have not banned them, and they have been linked to that. So the only one that can ban them for you is you. So what we have to do collectively is educate ourselves about what is in the food and refuse to buy it, refuse to eat it, and only buy that which is going to nourish our bodies and not inundate our bodies with toxins. If I scroll up on this article, it's actually pretty revealing in the first paragraph. It said artificial colorings are added to many different foods. They may make your food look pretty, but there can be hidden risks. About 15 million pounds of petroleum dyes are used in food each year. 15 million pounds of petroleum dyes. These come from the petroleum industry and are linked to all these issues and all these health problems. This is according to the nonprofit advocacy organization Center for Science in the Public Interest. Worryingly, some of these dyes have been found to be carcinogenic at high levels. Well, yeah. And so this is a slow motion poisoning. These studies have already shown that it is a poison, and it may not happen to you overnight, but over the longer term, you're destroying your health. I mean, to put it bluntly. And so, and whoever you're buying them for. So what we really want to do is make sure that we get educated on what to avoid as we go around the landmine that has become the U.S. grocery store. And it's full of landmines in there. And so if you know what to look for and you know what to refuse, you can build your menu around just a few staples of nutrition and life, like wheat that's been fermented into sourdough that can supply all your nutrients and all the things that you need, and build your menu around that and some other things. But definitely we don't want to put toxins into our body that now our body needs more nutrition to try to get rid of and deal with. If you scroll down on this article, there's many different things that are in here that have caused many problems. If you notice in red number 3 and red number 40, it says the U.S. banned red number 3 in 1990 for topical use. That said, it can still be sold in our foods and beverages. Now, does that make any sense whatsoever? You cannot put it on your skin, but you can still eat it. That should make us all red in the face. The reason it's been outlawed, red number 40 may contain the carcinogenic contaminant P-crescidine and is thought to cause tumors of the immune system. In the UK, these red dyes aren't recommended for children. Well, yeah. And many European nations have banned their use. The dyes are found in fruit cocktails, maraschino cherries, grenadine, cherry pie mix, ice cream candy, bakery products, and more. So I'll put these links down below, but the main thing is there are poisons in our food, and there are poisons that you must avoid. And if you can do that, and you can find nourishing foods, your health and your wellness, your mental health, because you know, if you realize if your body's healthy, well, your brain is your body. How is your body going to be unhealthy and your brain going to be healthy? To have overall health and wellness, we need to have nutrition for the entire body, mind, and spirit. And so to do that and still put toxins in your diet, it's going to be impossible. So I'm glad that you're here and you're seeing these things and you can begin to take steps. This is a process. Nobody's going to be perfect right off the bat, but there's some major things you must avoid in your diet and also of buying food for others. And so when you go to the grocery store, the first thing we want to talk about like today is the artificial colors. And if you can avoid those, you're going to do yourself a great service. Hit the like button down below and also the subscribe button. It will help get this information to others. Everybody needs to know this. You know, we're really going to do this together. I really appreciate your support, and I look forward to making these videos for you. I'll see you back here soon.